Hi, I'm Trevor Lewis, author of Thriving as an Empath, Empowering Your Highly Sensitive Self. I've been an empath all my life, and since 2013, I've been on a mission to help other empaths learn more easily the lessons I had to learn the hard way. This talk is about understanding what it means to be an empath living at a time of a global pandemic. I have to start this talk by going back to 2014 when I found myself saying frequently that we, the light workers, had to be supporting each other because those of us that had done our spiritual work on ourselves were going to be having a hard time in the coming years. We needed to support each other so that we could do the work we needed to do to support those people who would really be struggling through the planetary changes that were coming. That was 2014. Fast forward to the middle of May 2020. The United States was ending its initial period of COVID lockdown, and people here were antsy to get back to living their lives again. The anger within the political environment was starting to spill over to how people were expressing their views about social distancing. But then I started to realize that people were getting angry for more than politics, more than the pandemic. They were just angry about pretty much anything and everything they could focus on. Being able to appreciate what is going on in the emotional collective of large groups is one of the characteristics of being a thriving empath. It was May 18th, 2020, that I wrote, "I'm finding that a lot of my friends, relatives, and clients are experiencing waves of anger right now, and for the past 7 to 10 days, at unusually high levels of intensity. I find it no coincidence that the George Floyd protests and the resurgence of Black Lives Matter protests started 8 days later. There's a bigger picture about anger that goes beyond current events." It's also worth mentioning that I also studied the link between the emotional and physiological bodies, work that made Louise Hay famous in the 1980s. In that respect, COVID demonstrated that the planet as a whole is suffering from an emotional dis-ease that runs across all international borders. But then, to take it a step further, the rallying cry of the Black Lives Matter protesters became, "We can't breathe," the same symptoms of COVID. Coincidence? I think not. There's a bigger picture about breathing that goes beyond current events. We are living in times of tremendous planetary change. COVID is not part of the planetary problem, it is part of the solution. It is helping to cleanse some of the old energies that no longer serve us. My sense is that huge amounts of new energy are being pumped into the planet. Many people are unable to handle this new energy. For the nervous systems that can't handle that energy or simply resist the new energy, the energy is manifesting with anger and with fear. Anger and fear, like all emotions, are meant to flow through us the way emotions flow through a healthy child. Temper tantrum one moment, all smiles the next. As adults, we start to try to understand our emotions. The mind applies labels, meanings, and stories, all of which serve to slow down the way emotions move through us. Interpreting this new planetary energy with anger slows down the great transition that our planet is going through. The world is changing, I'm sure for the better if we can just keep the bigger picture in mind. The frequency of the planet is increasing. We are challenged with staying centered in the middle of all of this change. It certainly is an adjustment for all of us. We are in the middle of the great transition for the planet that we've been talking about for decades. It's here, it's now. Don't take the struggle personally, it's not personal. Keep sending love out into the world. You are helping to heal the planet. All empaths are. Use all your tools that help. If my light projector exercise on this site helps, great. Remember, there's a bigger picture about why we are here that goes beyond current events. All empaths are natural healers. If you're an empath, you came here to planet Earth to do a job, to help heal the planet. All you have to do is to keep your head above all of the fear and anger around us. Allow these new planetary energies to move through you without resistance, without getting caught up in the fear of anger. If you are struggling right now, please reach out to any light worker who can support you. And that includes me, Trevor Lewis. If you're not struggling, please reach out to any light worker who needs your support. Thank you for doing your part to make the world a better place. I'm going to finish this talk with a summary of 4 bullet points. 1, higher dimensional energies can be uncomfortable for lower dimensional beings because it's hard to process a 240 volt energy through a 110 volt circuit. 2, the Earth is being bombarded with huge amounts of increased energy right now. 3, the wave of anger that has been running around the world in the past few months is less about anger than it is about an inability or an unwillingness to process the new energy cleanly as pure energy. Our job, or at least part of our job as empaths, is to keep this new energy clean as it comes in, so it doesn't get distorted into anger or into fear. Thank you for listening to this talk. Thank you for helping yourself learn to become a thriving empath. For more information, please go to www.thrivingempath.com.